Marco Bezzecchi went into a hospital in Sassuolo as the man who had led this MotoGP World Championship for most of the season. And the story everyone told while he was on the operating table was that the dream went in with him. Broken collarbone, surgery, season gone, Aprilia's title run, finished on a Saturday afternoon at the Sachsenring. Then the operation worked. The update said Silverstone, and the same people who buried it started calling it a rescue. But look at what happened to the numbers while he was under anaesthetic, because a comeback and a title fight are not the same thing. So did the surgery really save Bezzecchi's season? Or did it just save the rider while the championship walked off without him? Here is why this runs deeper than one rider's collarbone. When Bezzecchi crashed out of German GP qualifying, he was not a midfield name, having a rough weekend. He was the story of the season. He had won the opening races. He had won at Mugello. He had walked out of Italy with the championship lead and a cushion of 17 points over Jorge Martin, his own teammate. That is the version of Bezzecchi that got hurt. Not a hopeful. A rider who had led this championship since race 1 and had only just been knocked off the top, second and 7 points back the day he crashed. So when the operation succeeded and the word Silverstone appeared, the relief made sense, because the man carrying the most serious title run Aprilia had ever built was supposed to be coming back. Except the calendar does not pause for surgery, and neither does a championship table. Start with what actually happened on the operating table, because the headline flattened it. This was not a hairline crack a rider tapes over and rides through. Dr. Giuseppe Porcellini operated at the University Hospital of Sassuolo on a left collarbone that reports called complete and displaced. The bone had broken all the way through and shifted out of place. That is the kind of fracture that gets plated, not rested. Aprilia confirmed the break was reset and stabilised, which is the clinical way of saying they screwed it back together. And the recovery is genuinely ahead of where a break like that usually sits. Within days, Bezzecchi was out of surgery, discharged, and already talking about getting back to work. The summer break, the one long gap on the calendar, happened to fall right here, handing him a little over 3 weeks before the paddock reconvenes at Silverstone. That timing is not something he engineered. It is something he inherited, and it is the only reason the word comeback is on the table this fast. But this is where the tidy version starts to come apart, because targeting Silverstone and being cleared for Silverstone are two very different sentences, and only one of them is true right now. Go back through Aprilia's own statement slowly, because the optimism in the headlines is not actually in the wording. The team did not say he will race. They said, and this is the release word for word, although it is too early to define a precise recovery timeline, we hope to see Marco return to racing at the next GP at Silverstone. Too early to define a timeline. Hope to see him return? That is not a green light. That is an organisation leaving itself an exit, because a plated collarbone under race-breaking loads is a real question, not a formality. Silverstone is a target painted on a wall. It is not a ticket already printed. And, there is one more part of this the surgery coverage mostly skated past. While everyone was measuring his collarbone, the championship quietly rearranged itself behind his back. Across the last 4 rounds, Bezzecchi scored 13 points out of a possible 148. 13. He left Mugello leading the World Championship. He is coming back to Silverstone sitting 4th. Now look at who climbed over him, because this is the part that should sting. Jorge Martin, his own teammate, on the same factory Aprilia, now leads the championship on 208 points. Bezzecchi sits on 186. That is a 22-point hole to the other side of his own garage. And in second, 14 points behind Martin, sits Ai Ogura on a Trackhouse Aprilia. Say that again. The top 2 riders in the MotoGP World Championship are both on Aprilias. Just not the one everyone had been watching. Bezzecchi himself went the other way, and this is where you feel the man instead of the medical report. In a message after the operation he wrote, "It's a tough time, but we're tougher." He did not stop there. "Nothing is going to make me give up," he added. "See you soon." Short, defiant, and pointedly not about the collarbone, because the collarbone is only the last line of a brutal stretch. Hungary, Brno, Assen, Germany, 4 weekends that each left a mark for 4 different reasons before the Sachsenring ever entered the picture. Behind all of it, Marc Marquez has done exactly what Marquez does. A perfect double in Germany, sprint and race, dragged him to third from a season that not long ago had him more than 100 points adrift. So the grid Bezzecchi rejoins is not the one he crashed out of. He left it as the hunted. He returns as the 4th name on the sheet. So let us say the quiet part out loud. The story sold to you this week was that Bezzecchi's surgery saved Aprilia's championship dream. It did not, because that dream was never the thing lying in the hospital bed. Aprilia's title fight is not on life support. Aprilia's title fight is leading the World Championship 1 and 2. The manufacturer is winning. The bike is winning. What changed is whose hands are on it. That is the flip. People thought the crash put Aprilia's season in danger. It did not. It put Bezzecchi's season in danger. And for the first half of the year, those were the same sentence. He was Aprilia's charge. Aprilia's charge was him. And when he led, they led. The surgery did not restore that link. The 4 weekends before the surgery had already snapped it. By the time the anaesthetic wore off, the role of Aprilia's title contender had quietly been handed to 2 other men, and one of them parks on the other side of his own box. That is why the comeback, real as it is, does not mean what the headline wants it to mean. Bezzecchi returning at Silverstone is the story of a rider refusing to vanish. It is not the story of a title lead being handed back. Those are 2 different comebacks, and only one is still available to him. Here is the fair read. The surgery working is good news, and the speed of it credits the rider and the surgeon both. Anyone who watched him win 4 times this season wants him back on the bike, and at Silverstone he very likely will be, if the collarbone holds under the first hard stop into Stowe. But wanting the comeback and overselling it are not the same act. Bezzecchi is not coming back to reclaim a championship lead. He is coming back to chase one, from 4th, with his teammate holding the number the paddock once assumed would be his. The real fight waiting for him at Silverstone was never Marquez, and it was never really about a bone. It is the uncomfortable fact that the 2 riders leading the World Championship, both ahead of him, are on the same Italian machine he rides. He did not only lose points while he was down, he lost his place in his own manufacturer's story. Getting the body back is the easy part. Getting that place back is the whole season. So the surgery did not save his title. It bought him one chance to take it back from the 2 title leaders on his own brand of bike. Can he still do it? Let us know in the comments below. And once you do that, make sure to click on the video appearing on your screen right now.